What's up, Internet? My name's Ori. It is Thursday, August 21st, day number 45 inside the Big Brother house. It is eviction day. Where do the votes lie? Will the judges hand out a guilty verdict? And how does Vince hold all the cards heading into the eviction? Let's talk about that, plus all the intel drama and more from yesterday's live feeds. But first, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Speaking of, we were live yesterday for our watch party for the episode, and we will be live tonight for our eviction watch party as well. If you haven't come on out to one, they're a lot of fun. Come on, join the chat. It's always great time hanging out with you. And then also tomorrow, we will be live as well for our Friday morning update. You guys don't know, on Fridays, you get the same update you normally do, short, sweet, to the point. But we go live, and then afterwards, we jump into the chat, and it's a whole lot of fun hanging out with you guys on those Fridays. So make sure you come check us out then. But a little bit of a recap for you. If you guys haven't been keeping up with everything going on this week, Rachel won HOH, and she nominated Mickey, Morgan, and Vince for the block. Lauren then goes on to win the power of veto, using it to save Vince. Rachel then goes and sends shockwaves through the house by nominating Riley as the replacement. And we also had the formation of a new alliance that's sole goal is to keep Morgan in the game and evict Riley and then Mickey in that order for this upcoming eviction, including Will, Rachel, Morgan, Ashley, and Vince. Here's the thing, Vince isn't 100% on board. We did have a little bit of a chat, though, to start the day off with Will and Ava. And it wasn't really your normal Will and Ava conversation, right? I usually kind of love those Will and Ava back and forth. They're always pretty open with each other, but you definitely can tell here that Will is holding things back. As far as I know, he has not told Ava about the Judges Alliance that he's involved with. And here, he doesn't really seem to even push his agenda that much to Ava, really just trying to hear her out more about what her thoughts are. And they kind of say, like Will says, hey, let's just, see where the votes are before we actually end up making a decision, right? And then we can move from there. But they do both agree that there is a high chance that Mickey could end up going tonight because she does not have the votes to stay. Now, Rachel ended up having a chat with Ava as well, mostly about Mickey again. And Ava kind of said, like, listen, at this point, Mickey has made her bed, and I do not want to lay in it with her. So that is kind of where Ava's at this point. So she is not really feeling Mickey at all, and that is somebody that she really wants to vote out, especially even over Riley. We do, though, end up getting them meeting up with Morgan. So it was Rachel, Ava, and Morgan all having a chat. And they were kind of pushing that Ava should get on board with voting out Riley. And eventually she does. She kind of says, listen, all right, fine. I'm down, right? Put me on the list, but let me go talk to Vince first. Me and Vince, we've talked before, and I want to make sure I'm at least on the same page with him because I had kind of said that we would try and do that. We also had Catherine and Kelly kind of having a little conversation. Lauren and Vince were there too. But they said that, at least Catherine said, how bad it looks for Rachel trying to break up the showmance when that was pretty much all Rachel's personality. And then we also had Kelly saying that she thinks Rachel should stay, but as soon as jury starts, they should make her the first juror so she's alone for Brendan and hers anniversary. We then had the feeds. They went down for a long time. Nothing crazy was going on. It was just a halfway party, right? They always kind of do this about halfway through the season. They get them pizza. There's a giant cake that has all the memory wall pictures on it and stuff like that. So it's just kind of a way for them to kind of celebrate that milestone in the game. But it's weird that we're already here at the halfway point. This season has felt like it was really long and it took forever to get here, but also really short. And it's like, how are we at the halfway point already? It's kind of a weird feeling that I have about this. But when the feeds do come back, there was more kind of whispers and chats going on. Ava ended up meeting with Rachel, who brought out the cherries. And here's my question. Are you team cherries or are you team M&Ms? Which is better? Let me know in those comments down below. Because Rachel uses these cherries to kind of lay out how the house is situated right now. And she does a really good job of it, right? I think she has a really pretty good read on the game. And Ava seems to follow along as well. She's like, right, like, I kind of get everything you're saying, Rachel, but here's my problem. I know that Mickey has said she'll put me on the block, and Riley hasn't. Here's the thing. we actually know Riley has said that before in the past. Whether that's still what his nominations would be at the end of the day when he would go on to win an HOH, we don't know, but he has said it in the past. But that's the big reason why Ava is just not on board with keeping Mickey around because she has known that Mickey would use her as a pawn. Even if it's a pawn, she doesn't want to go on the block. Eventually, Ashley kind of joined in on this conversation as well. And they continue to kind of push the whole idea that they really need to send Riley home this week. Since Riley had been on the block, he's been Keanu's like best friend. And they just continue to go down that path saying that like Catherine and Riley, they're 2 votes. You add in Keanu, that's 3 votes. You add in Kelly, that's 4 votes. You might as well just kind of pack it on in. If we don't take this shot right now, they feel like those 4 will end up running the whole game, and it will just be a wrap. That would be 4 votes in jury as well, and they would pretty much choose whoever they would want to win. So they really feel like this needs to happen now. If we don't take this shot now, we're doomed. Ava then goes eventually though to find Vince, and she really wants to talk about how things are all going and like what they should do. Vince says like he's still kind of 50-50 on everything. He's kind of unsure what to do. They both do agree that, they should keep Morgan over Mickey. And Ava told Vince, like, my gut is telling me I should keep Riley over Mickey. And Vince agrees. He's like, yeah, I'm totally down with that, right? Like, I think Riley should stay over Mickey, and that's what we should do. It shouldn't be Mickey that stays around here. And Ava says, listen, yeah, if Rachel ends up being upset that we kept Riley, well, at least with me, she did not even ask me about my opinion on Riley going up the block. So how could she be mad when she chose to do something for her game? I have to choose something that's good for my game. They then go on to say, Ava says, listen, my gut's also telling me, you know what? Maybe we should keep Morgan over Riley, right? Maybe that is a thing that is okay. And Vince a little bit pushes back, right? He's a little bit unsure. But they kind of come to the conclusion, right? They're like, this is what we really know. Morgan over Mickey, Riley over Mickey. But then again, Vince, he's pushing back on Morgan staying versus Riley. He's like, I don't know. He's like, should we think more about this, right? Like, who would be more upset what we're doing? We have to really think about who we're going to piss off with that vote and who do we actually want to be aligned with. Ava said she is thinking about who she's going to upset, and she feels like this is what the universe wants, right? Like the universe wants her to keep Riley over Mickey, and the universe wants her to potentially keep Riley over Morgan. But what they end up saying is, listen, at the end of the day, right? Like, let's not lock in anything on the Morgan versus Riley situation right now. Let us go and kind of not even stress ourselves about it, because if we try and make a decision now, we're going to be flip flopping and going crazy, and just it's going to be sitting on our stomach the whole time as that blockbuster is going on, right? So let's just wait and see what happens. And if Mickey ends up winning the blockbuster, after that, we'll meet up real quick and we'll decide what to do with Morgan and Riley. Yeah, they are not making a decision right now. Now, they could end up making one today before the eviction, but they are not making a decision before blockbuster results, which is crazy. Ava then goes and tells Will, like, hey, like, I'm considering, right, voting out Riley if Mickey wins the blockbuster, but only if Mickey wins the blockbuster. That's the only time that I would be voting out Riley in that situation. Maybe if it's Riley and Morgan, then I'll do it. But otherwise, Mickey's got to go. If Mickey doesn't win that blockbuster, she's voting out Mickey. And, it's one of those things where, if Rachel wants the showmance out, she should have put both of them up on the block. That's a thing as well. Probably should have. Mickey then goes, and I don't know when this conversation happened, but it almost felt like she just felt like something was going on, right? Like there was something in the air that she could just sense. And she goes to Will. This is when she says, hey, I have to ask you a question. Ashley told me that you told her Ava's keeping Riley over me. And it is like, whoa, like what's going on here? That's a big bomb to kind of drop right on the Will's lap there. But I gotta say, he does a really good job of just trying to diffuse the situation and kind of reassure Mickey that, hey, no matter what, You got the votes to stay. This shouldn't be a problem. They continue kind of going over different scenarios and how things are going to play out tonight during the eviction. But then Mickey actually even suggests that in the event that it's Riley versus Morgan, maybe maybe it would be better to get rid of Morgan, which is a shock to Will. He was completely surprised by this. Eventually, after their conversation wraps up, Will ends up reporting this to Morgan, but that ends up calling for an emergency meeting of the judges. Court needs to be in session. Here's the thing, sadly, we missed out on the actual dropping of the bomb that Will was telling to the rest of the group. But we do see kind of the continuation of this meeting where they kind of go over the importance of getting rid of Riley first and foremost, no matter what. And then Mickey would be that second option. Morgan stays no matter what. And they then say like, listen, with Ava, Vince, you're the one. You got to go tell her what to do because whatever you tell her to do, she's going to follow along your suit. So if you tell her that you're voting out Riley, she will vote out Riley. So they are all still convinced that Vince will vote out Riley this week. That is not what Vince wants to do. Just before this, Morgan had a little bit of a chat with Vince and she was saying, like, we need the judges, right? Like, that's a good alliance. And Vince kind of asked her, he's like, will they protect me though? And Morgan was very affirmative that yes, they will protect him. I'll make sure that they protect you. Afterwards, though, Morgan was kind of crying to Vince about Mickey and how she was being so disloyal, kind of saying that she thinks that possibly Morgan should go over Riley, and Morgan was just really upset by all this. Vince brings up the idea of evicting Mickey though, and Morgan pushes back right away, and they say we can't take that shot right now. Vince then brings up like, hey, feel like Mickey is the reason why, me and Zach ended up on the block in the first place, right? Like that was kind of a thing that she kind of pushed. And then she also considered putting me up on the block. Like you told me that, Morgan. So that's all stuff that's really concerning him. And Morgan tells him, right, Vince, like they need to look at the bigger picture. This isn't just about, just Mickey. Like we need to look at the numbers and everything like that. Vince kind of pushes back and he keeps saying, like, if I keep Mickey, that's putting me in a position where I have to trust people that I don't trust and that didn't trust me at the very least for the first half of this game. And if I feel like if I go along with that, I'm at the bottom of the totem pole and they're all going to evict me the first chance they get. Meanwhile, if I also go against Keanu, Catherine, and Kelly, they are going to be like, I'm going to be dead to them. They're going to be gunned for me over and over. So it's like, what do I do? And Morgan said, you can't go against the alliance. Like it's such a big thing that we just made and it's so important. And Vince is like, it just started, right? Like I said, the first half of the game, they were coming after me. How can I really trust these people? And Vince says, like, the only thing he knows is that, he's going to keep Morgan in every scenario. Maybe not. And he's that's where his big thing is, but he really wants to vote out Mickey. And she's given him way more reasons not to trust him. And Riley hasn't. Morgan then keeps trying to push more and more, saying, like, yeah, you know what, but maybe it wasn't all her fault. Maybe it wasn't even necessarily Ava's fault that Zach's gone. Maybe it wasn't even your fault either. Did you know that Zach had a 10K that he could use to take himself off the block? Yeah, Vince, he could have saved himself. Morgan drops the bomb on Vince that Zach's NK was actually a power he could have used to save himself. And then he actually sacrificed himself because he knew that Morgan would more than likely be the replacement nominee. So he stayed up there on the block. Vince was kind of blown away by this. She explained how the whole thing works. And then she also said, like, I know I told Lauren and Zach had told Mickey. And like, I really want to know what is going through Vince's head at this moment because he doesn't say like too much here. He's just like, wait, what? How? Huh? Whoa. And it was just this whole like big revelation for him. He's like, that's kind of crazy. But eventually what he does say is like, listen, one thing I don't want to do is burn that bridge with Rachel when I just kind of built this up. And I know what she will say. I knew we couldn't trust him. So what he decides to do is he'll at least tell them he's 50-50 on the decision with Mickey and Riley. So it's not a full blindside on them. And then Vince tells Morgan, like, listen, don't say anything about this either. But Ava has told me that she will keep Riley over Mickey. And all of the reasons why she wants to, because Riley doesn't, hasn't said that he's going to put her on the block as again, but she doesn't know that, and that Mickey has said that she would put her on the block, so that she just doesn't trust Mickey anymore. Vince doesn't want Morgan to say a thing though, right? He's like, I promised Ava I wouldn't say anything. Don't use this to sway votes or anything like that. Like you got to keep this between us. And Morgan says she does. And also Morgan says all she cares about is staying, right? Like she just wants to stay this week. And they continue to kind of count all the votes. And Vince even says, like, at the end of the day, right, to evict Mickey, I think she's got 5 votes. I'd be the 6th. So, speaking of the votes, because they eventually went to sleep, they were up for a very long time. Let's go over the votes and take a look at our allegiance chart here leading up to the eviction. Here's our allegiance chart, how everything's all kind of settled. We did have a few changes yesterday in the update from where we were this week, where Vince kind of moved more to the middle with the whole new Judges Alliance. And he really is in a spot where he needs to choose what he wants to do here because he holds a lot of power in this week. Let's start off first with probably the easiest situation. If it's Mickey versus Morgan, I think it's probably going to be unanimous. Like, I don't think Mickey is getting a single vote to stay. Maybe there's somebody who gives her a little bit of a sympathy vote, but this is almost a complete lock that Morgan will end up staying and Mickey would be evicted if Riley wins the blockbuster. Let's take a look now here at the two options if Riley doesn't win the blockbuster. Let's say it's Riley versus Mickey and Morgan won. This is where Riley would have locked in Catherine, Kelly, Keanu, and Lauren. Those would be 4 votes locked in no matter what. Ava and Vince, they're kind of swing votes. And then on the other side, you have Mickey, Will, and Ashley. Those 2 votes by Vince and Will decide this thing. If they both decide to go over and vote out Mickey, Mickey will be evicted. If they both decide to go over and vote out Riley, Riley will be evicted. So Vince and Will hold a lot of power. And it does seem like right now, Ava is leaning towards keeping Riley. And with Vince and everything he wants, I would think he would even tell Ava, yeah, let's vote out Riley in this situation. Thing though, I've thought of is if Vince really wanted to kind of keep not only Riley in the game, but also keep his alliance with the judges intact, one of the things he could do here is kind of lie to Ava and say, yeah, let's vote to keep Riley. Let Ava do her thing where she votes to keep Riley. Vince could then vote to keep Mickey, and Riley still would go because Mickey would only have 4 votes in that situation. Riley would end up with 5. So if Vince was kind of smart, he could even pull something off here where he gets the best of both worlds, where Mickey gets evicted, Riley stays, and he's also still good with the judges. The only thing about that is he does have to trust in Ava to actually vote out Riley. And he also has to trust in himself to be able to mend that fence with Ava because he will be lying to her. Because otherwise, in the other situation, if we go look at the Riley versus Morgan, it's very similar. The numbers are all pretty much the same. Catherine, Keanu, Kelly, and Lauren, they would all vote to keep Riley. Whereas with Morgan, Mickey, Will, and Ashley would vote to keep her. Now, Ava, again, does seem like she's now leaning towards keeping Morgan over Riley. That is a possibility, but she also would be thinking of keeping Riley in that situation as well. And then we do have Vince, who has that relationship with Morgan. It's a very close one. I think he would actually be interested in keeping Morgan, right? I think that would be something he would like, but not as much as he would like to keep Riley because he doesn't want to go with that side of the house. He doesn't trust them. He doesn't really trust Will, Ava, Rachel, and Ashley to keep him off the block. He feels like they would end up going for him and eventually putting him up on the block, and he doesn't want to be involved with that. So it's kind of an issue for him where he's got to decide here what's the most important thing for his game moving forward. Should he keep Riley around? Should he go with the other side and try and keep that alliance going? I honestly, his best option right now is that Riley wins the blockbuster because then he doesn't really have to pick a side. He can just go along with everybody else, vote out Mickey, and he can keep playing like he is. Otherwise, unless he tries to do that little thing I was telling you with Ava, where he says Ava vote to keep Riley, and then he jumps on board making the vote to keep Morgan or Mickey, or where it's like, oh, okay, Vince did vote with us, we just didn't have the numbers. He really exposes his game to almost everybody in the house, and he's going to piss off at least one half of the house, no matter what he does. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out tonight as we head on into the eviction. We'll have the blockbuster competition between Mickey, Morgan, and Riley. One of them will win, the other two will face the vote, and one of them will be going home tonight. Who do you think will be evicted? Let me know in those comments down below. Also, who do you want to win Blockbuster? What would be the most interesting scenario for you to see play out? And also, who would you like to see become the next HOH? Because there will be a new HOH after tonight. So who would you like to see in power? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. Thank you guys all again so much for all the love, support you give me here on this channel. It's been amazing, the community we're able to build here, where we can just talk about all different kinds of things in the Big Brother world, and also just learn and listen and understand that, you know, when people have different opinions, that doesn't mean that you can completely go and not just listen to what they have to say, because when you have those discussions, that is when people are able to maybe not fully ever agree, but at least you can maybe walk away understanding each other's views a little better, and maybe even have a better view on your opinion as well. And it's just been amazing what we've been able to do here. But if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Like I said, we will be live tonight for a watch party for the live eviction. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think this should be a good one. So come on out for that. And then we will be live tomorrow morning on our Friday morning update. Like I said, you get the same update you get just like you just did just now. But afterwards, we jump into the chat, we talk with you guys, and it's a whole lot of fun. So make sure you come on out for that as well. Check out all the links to my socials in the pinned comment description down below. You can check out things like the Discord, my Twitter. Discord's a great place right now too. We just remodeled everything, so it's really easy to find different chats where you want to go and have conversations. We got a great one for Big Brother. There's a lot of stuff going on with the Survivor world right now, with the new cast being announced. Also, Survivor Australia versus the world. I'm telling you, if you haven't watched Survivor Australia versus the world yet, do it. Run and do it. There are links in the description in the Discord. Go check out the Discord. It's got all the stuff you want. Check out my Twitter, but also check out things like the Ori Fund. Help support Ori everywhere. Thank you guys all again so much for watching, and I will see you at night.
You guys were talking to me and you were like, Ava, we're so scared. What's gonna happen? And I was like, don't worry, guys. You guys can do anything. And I gave you a hug, but in my head I was like, one of these bitches is going out.